Hello everyone. How you going this morning? It's Monica Plemikos here, clinical hypnotherapist and psychotherapist. And thank you so much for joining me this morning. Today I thought I'd speak a little bit about when you want to help someone, but it's not actually helping at all. So I don't know if you've experienced this before, but it's something that on the surface can look like a good idea, but in reality, not so much. So, helping people is, hey Fiona, thank you for watching. Helping people is something that's kind of like in my DNA. That's part of me, part of my purpose, part of who I am, and also part of what I think is my role here. On earth is to help as many people as I can. But I can also appreciate that some people, for some, help is not wanted and is not warranted, and I think sometimes we can overstep the mark and overstep that line. So if you find yourself or identify as a helper, I'd really like to hear from you. If you could, post in here saying that yes, I'm a helper. And helping is part of my role. It's part of my role as a clinical hypnotherapist and psychotherapist. Hi Linda, hi David, thank you for watching. I appreciate you being here. And helping comes in all kinds of different shapes and sizes. It's it's things like giving advice or being there in person to help them with something. It could be that you're doing something for them or what have you. Hey Renata, how you doing? Thank you for being here. But it can also be, overstepping the mark, and it can be a bit too much sometimes too. Hey Debbie, thanks for coming on board and watching. So we're talking about when helping is not actually helping at all. So to give you a few examples, helping can come in the form of giving advice. So I don't know if you've ever been in that situation. Maybe you've been hanging out with your girlfriends or your mates, and you've been like, yeah, and this happened, and then I said this, and then they said that, and they jump in straight away with a solution. Maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that, and you're like, nah, like just let me explain, let me get through the story, right? So not helping can be jumping to a conclusion or jumping to resolution too soon, or it can be in terms of you projecting or giving stuff away as well. So the perfect example here is whenever I go to my mum's house, right, as dear and as beautiful as she is, she's always giving me stuff. Okay, here, Monica, take this with you. I bought it the other day. And it's like, Mum, I just don't want it. Like, I really don't want it. I don't need it. I don't want it. Here, take it. What am I going to do with it, she says. It's like, well, you bought it, so, right? So there's that kind of giving stuff, a projecting and wanting to give something to someone, and it's not wanted or warranted or asked for, and it can be quite uncomfortable, and it can be quite like, oh geez, what do I do with this? And obviously in the situation with my mum, I've learned to say no thank you, no thank you, no thank you, and kind of just leave before she packs my car with anything else. But if it's a friend or an in-law even, and they're giving you a gift or something that they feel would look nice in your home or something like that, it can be really awkward knowing what to do with it. It's kind of like, well, I've got this gift. Do I have to hang up this this mural on the wall? Are they going to be offended if I don't? Can I re-gift it? Yeah, there's all those kinds of questions. Hey Marcus, thanks for joining. So yeah, that helping can come in many forms, but also not helping can come in many forms as well. And another situation where I see helping is not actually helpful is with children too. Now, obviously, yes, you do need to care for your children. You do need to give them guidance and advice and set them off in the right direction. But too often I see and speak to many parents who just do everything for their kids. They literally just do everything. They do the washing, they do the cleaning up, they do the, even helping them get dressed when they're perfectly capable of doing that on their own. And I see that as hindering because, in some cases when you do everything for children, then it builds a reliance on you to continue to help them in that way and to continue to do those things for them. This is my personal belief as a mum that, I believe it's one of my roles to help our kids become independent, and to give them those life skills as well. And I don't think those life skills are necessarily conveyed by just telling and sharing information. I think those life skills are built with direct application. So, I've talked about many times, one of the things that I get my 8-year-old son to do is to unpack the dishwasher, and to put away all the clean dishes. And yes, I can do it, and many times I do. But it's one of those things where, he's learning a domestic chore. He's learning that to run a household, there are certain things that you have to do to maintain the home. And also knowing that, as part of a family or as part of a household, everyone has an important role to play and a contribution to make as well. So, that's my 2 cents on that. I feel that, showing kids how to do, those certain life skills is going to help them, grow that independence and help them feel more confident in themselves when they do go out, when they do leave home, or when they go and travel for themselves, that they've got those skills to take care of themselves. So look, what to do instead, so I've talked a little bit about, hi Tina, thank you for watching. So I've talked a bit about, when helping is not helping, when you give your advice and it's kind of, thanks for that. Not received, it doesn't land, or when you give stuff away or project your belongings onto other people and it's kind of like, what do I do with this now? Or or with kids, or it could even be for other household members or friends or family, where you just feel like you're doing so much for them, and it's not reciprocated, or it doesn't seem like it's doing anything. It doesn't seem like it's actually helping or changing the situation in any way. And so so I think the first thing, what you can actually do instead of leaping forward to actually help is to first listen. Listening is just so important. Listening is, when you listen, you get so much more information about where that other person is at, and you're in a far better position to actually help when you listen. And I'm always reminded of that saying, you've got 2 ears for a reason and only 1 mouth. I heard that in primary school. But I think there's some truth to that. When you listen first, it's that first step to actually really understanding where that person's at and where that person is coming from. And in listening, you're privy to that information, but you also then can be on the lookout for those signs of or an invitation to actually help, because the thing is that for some people, they don't actually want help. They don't want their help. They don't want your help. They do want to talk. They want to talk it out. Yeah, they want to express themselves and to be heard. And so being there and listening, you are actually helping them. You are actually helping them because you're holding the space for them to actually be able to vent, to get it off their chest, yeah, and to actually be heard. So listening is actually part of helping. That's the very first step, and it's a very important step to being able to help someone, and to truly understand where they're at and what they're going through. So now the second step to helping, or that I recommend, is when you've listened and you've heard that person, it's actually to validate their experience. So to validate someone's experience is you reflecting back that you've heard them, and that you've actually understood where they're coming from. And it doesn't mean, jumping in with anything. It could be just a simple, really? Oh, goodness. Well, that sounds terrible. Or I can't imagine going through that. I can't imagine going through what you've been through. It could be something as simple as just reflecting back what they've told you. Not commenting in, or adding anything to it, but just showing that you're listening, showing that you've heard them, and just being there for them in their presence. Yeah. And I mean, if you're to think about certain situations, a person who's lost someone, who's in that grieving process, someone's passed away, or a husband or wife, or anyone in their families, there's really nothing that you can do. There's nothing that you can do to change the situation. Sorry, but there is lots that you can actually do. And sometimes it's just being there. It's just being there and validating, listening, having that space, being open and compassionate towards that person. That's it. Sometimes that's enough. And look, and to be honest, it's sometimes, validating someone's experience is sometimes, that it's a missed opportunity. I know. Look, I guess as a therapist, it's part of my role to listen and validate and to understand, and then to, go into and seek out what they actually want to do with that. But I know in my personal life, and with my family and friends, that's not actually my role. My role is as a friend, and sometimes it's just helping them accept the situation as it is. Yeah. Sometimes there is no thing that you can do or say to make things all better. So it's just about you being there, listening, validating, going, geez, can't imagine what that would be like for you. And so in therapy, there is a process called ACT, so acceptance commitment therapy. And it's just that, it is helping that person to accept how things are the way they are. And it is a very effective therapy for some people. It's not something that I tend to use a lot of in my practice because I'm very solution focused, very strength based and solution focused. So, I do tend to kind of lean towards, so you have this problem. How have you dealt with something like this in the past, and how can you move forward? And what are your options here? What do you want to do with it first? But what are your options here? But obviously, not everyone will appreciate that kind of approach. So I tend to do that more in my hypnotherapy and coaching and mentoring. Whereas when I'm counselling, when someone has opted for that counselling style, then they're more likely wanting to actually talk things through, to be validated, to reflect, me to reflect back what they've said, and to create those kinds of insights to help them kind of just dump and get rid of all that stuff. Dump all that information in and leave it in the session so they can, feel relieved, feel like they've spoken, spoken to someone about it. So we've spoken about the first thing to do is to actually help someone is to listen. To listen to what they're saying, is to validate their experience. And the third thing is, which is a lot of the time overlooked, the third thing is to actually ask for permission to help. So this is something that I learnt through my coaching studies. It's actually it's a very, very respectful way to offer your help and offer your services, offer any kind of assistance, and it's to actually ask. So may I help here, or is there anything I can do? That's a beautiful way to offer help and assistance. And that person will say, oh, look, you know what? No, I'm really good. Thanks, but no, there's nothing that you can do. And that's your feedback. That's the answer right there. Or it could be, yes, if you can just, sit with me, or, I just really appreciate your company right now, appreciate the chat. Or yes, if you can make this phone call or sort this out for me, that'd be great too. So in asking that question, in asking for permission to help, you are getting real clarity as to whether your intention to help, is actually going to be received, whether it's actually helping or whether it's not helping. So definitely, asking for permission. And there could be other ways to ask, but it's great just to be direct. Is there anything I can do? Can I help in any way? Can I offer you a suggestion or a recommendation? Can I call someone on your behalf? So depending on what they bring and what that conversation is about, is asking permission, asking permission from them as to what you can offer them. So I hope that's been helpful. I hope there's a few things that you can take from this live, and if you have any questions or any situations where you feel like you're helping but it's not quite, you don't feel like it's quite being received, feel free to post it here or to contact me. We're more than happy to talk to you further, and to lend my help if that's what you want. So that's all from me today. Have a fantastic day. Have a lovely day. Thank you for being part of this live, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.